But here's that intro. What's up? What's up? What's up, man? What's going on? I know it's been a minute, as per usual. I know I'm inconsistent as hell, but right, but there's been a lot of sports going on, of course. A lot of things going down. NFL going down. NBA going down, right? We had a really great weekend when it came to the NFL playoffs, the first wild card weekend for this season, and it was exciting to say the least. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you, man. I enjoyed every game, every second of it, up until yesterday. So I'm gonna tell y'all why. I'm gonna tell y'all why I'm tight. I bet on Tom Brady. That's right. I bet on mother effing Tom Brady. And I lost out on the last money line, man. The last one. The last one. So it was unfortunate, but let's get into that. Let's not get into me losing. So first off, let me at least bring up the games that's coming up on this upcoming weekend, which I think is going to be very exciting. As you can see to my right there, Chiefs, Jaguars, Giants, Eagles, Bengals, Bills, Niners, and Cowboys. Right. So it's gonna be a great weekend for NFL. I mean, the games that we have already seen in the wild card weekend, they were lit, man. So I am gonna get into it. I know I'm kind of a little bit all over the place, but we gonna get into it, man. We gonna get into them games because I'm gonna give you from what I've seen. I'm gonna get deeper into it, and of course, you guys can tap in whenever, and also so you guys can tap in too. I'm gonna drop that link in the comment section. So for anybody that wants to tap in, can tap in. Right. Welcome to the stream, guys. And remember, like and subscribe though too. The games that happened. First off, let me switch my screen. Let me uh, bring up what was going on because we gonna get deep into it. We gonna talk about this for real, and I hope some of y'all tap in because I'm finna talk about this because this is all right. So first mother effing game, Niners and the Seahawks. Right, I picked the Niners to win this game. Um, and you know what? A little bit later into it, I'll give you guys who I have going to the Super Bowl also. So let me switch the screen. I'm tripping. I'm tripping. Okay. All right, y'all. Let me throw some music on here too, so we can get a nice little rhythm. You good? Okay. Nice little default beat, and I know you guys see I got a little change of scenery though too. So I am working on some things. I mean the place that's obviously a green screen behind me, but F all that, man. So Seahawks and 49ers, bro. At first, this game in the first half of this game was extremely exciting to watch. But second half in the game, things started to get away. It started to get away. All right. So let me get in particular into what was going down in this first half, how I looked at things, how do I assess things. First off, man, clap it up for Gino. Clap it up for Gino for real, man. I did not expect this season for the Seahawks. I don't think anybody really did it. Maybe probably Seahawks fan, but I think they would be capping if they said that they were going to be in the playoffs this year. I mean, myself included. I got to call myself out too. I did think the Seahawks weren't going to be in this position also, but from the Seahawks, just looking at some of the key pieces and some of their offseason moves. I mean, they really made it happen. They made the right moves for real. Geno Smith, Pete Carroll, firmly he believed in Geno. right? Everybody was thinking about it. Everybody was looking at the Seahawks situation. Was like, nah, man, Seahawks ain't going nowhere with Geno Smith, right? But we didn't factor in. Obviously, it's football. We got to factor in so many different things that comes into play when it comes to when it comes to the NFL, man, especially playoffs, bro. Right, Kenneth Walker, rookie running back, doing his thing for sure. He might be offensive rookie of the year if I'm not mistaken. He has a very good chance. Now, do I think so? I mean, I think it's subjective. We had a lot of great rookies this year, but that's just one of them, right? DK Metcalf came out with the score in the first half, right? But the 49ers, as we know, they have a great defense. Brock Purdy in the beginning was a little bit shaky. Not bad, but obviously he had a great game. He had a wonderful game. And let me bring up those stats, though, too. All right, so Brock Purdy had 332 yards in that game in total, all right, with a QB of 131. So in the beginning of this game, right, both of these guys, it was almost neck and neck down to the half. We saw a couple score switches. I think 49ers had gotten down the field. They had kicked the field goal, and then the Seahawks had kicked the field goal just for them. Well, I think it was like really like three field goals in the end of that first half, though. All right. But the Seahawks, man, they had a very admirable effort. In the beginning, I think they wanted to come out strong. They wanted to come out, showing that they belonged in the position that they are in. Right. That defense, though, Tariq Woolen, though, too, one probably defensive rookie of the year, but it probably might not go to him, man. He definitely flew under the radar, but we got to give a lot of props to Tariq Woolen, one of the premier rookie cornerbacks to come out this year and really pop off and show that he belongs in this league. And this is probably going to be for another video, but there has been a lot of great cornerbacks come out this year. I mean, we do got to talk about that. We had a lot of great rookie corners really do their thing, and for Sauce Gardner to be all pro in his first year as a corner, I mean that's really impressive to say the least. You know, but back to the game, right? So the Seahawks, so the Seahawks, for the most part, they were pretty smooth in the beginning, but then in the second half, things started to come out. Things started to get out their way. You can start to see that number one defense that we've seen all these years finally come out and do their thing and do what they usually do and do what they're supposed to do, right? If you're the number one defense, come on now. You let the Seattle Seahawks already draw. I think by the second half, it was already yeah, by the second half, it was 17-6. Oh, yes. So the Seahawks did make a play just before the halftime. It's like right there in front of me, though, too. But yeah, man. So in the second half, you can start to see how things really started to switch up. That defense really, they really amped it up. I think after that halftime, I think they snapped. They woke up, they got more aggressive, they did their thing. I believe. Wait, Geno Smith didn't have an interception, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just double checking. I'm not saying he did, but I'm just making sure he didn't. Okay, yeah, he did. He did have an interception in that game. Okay, so I'm not tripping, right? So, and then how many times? And then he got sacked 3 times. So that may have happened. What did that happen in the second half? Let me see. These are all scoring plays. I'll have to go look at each one. All right, see, I'm not finna do all that. Not right now, anyways. I can always tap into that a little bit later. Hey, man, if you guys are in the stream, though, like and subscribe. Whatever questions you got. Hey, I mean, we talking about football, basketball. This is debate. I can't have a debate by myself. There's no I in debate. But yeah, man, hit that chat. Whatever you guys want to talk about when it comes to NFL playoffs, basketball. Come on, man, let's talk about it. It could be comments. It could be you guys can hop on here. I dropped the link in the in the chat. So, but back to the game because I don't want to just keep spilling on about that. So Seahawks 49ers, right? And then so at the end of the day, man, I mean they had that long run. with Debo Samuels. They were just getting the balls off. They were getting the ball to the right guys. Christian McCaffrey in the first half came out explosive, right? That, I think the 49ers wanted to establish what they usually do on offense, run the ball, right? And with Christian McCaffrey on this team, for sure, they finally found their missing puzzle piece with Christian McCaffrey. I mean, since the beginning, when there were rumors circulating around the league about, what's going to happen with Christian McCaffrey, and then you hear the 49ers are looking to obtain him. I mean, it was clear. It was a clear-cut reason why, they wanted this guy. I didn't think they needed him, but they wanted this guy. But now that they have him, I see you got the office setting going. Oh, appreciate. Hey, what's up, Batcher? Hey, appreciate it, man. Man. Hey, that's why y'all haven't seen me for so long, man. I know I'll be inconsistent. It's just because I've been trying to work on encoding and trying to do some, I've been trying to do so many things with trying to upgrade this channel. So, and especially, I got school and stuff, so it's hard to mix all that in, and still stream every day. Because I would realistically, I would like to sit down like 2-3 hours, but I don't have that time every single day. You know what I mean? But back into it. Okay, yeah, we talk about your Niners though too. And remember, I said I got y'all going to the Super Bowl. Now, hey, it's one game though. It's one game, one playoff game. This is gonna be the tough one for y'all. This is gonna be the tough one for y'all for sure. This is gonna be tougher for him, honestly. As a team, I think you guys are fine. I think you guys are fine as a team. I mean, I'm still picking y'all to win. I picked the Bucks to win yesterday against the Cowboys. Um, but with the Niners, man, the way I look at this team, the way I look at this offense, especially like you guys convinced me last year that the 49ers are a team to be reckoned with, right? It's just like with Debo. Debo is honestly my favorite receiver in the league. I don't care. Debo Samuel is my favorite player, my favorite player in the league. The way this man plays football is literally nitty gritty. Kill the carrier, and he's killing you. Right, 1v1. This guy has the ball in his hands. Come on now. I mean, this and at the end of the day, though, Batcher, this is what Brock Purdy is dealing with. Also, I mean, Brandon Ayuk is playing well, but I think with Brock Purdy, he complements Brandon Ayuk a lot more, a lot better. I certainly think he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. With Jimmy Garoppolo, he had a lot of pressure on him as a quarterback. I'm speaking from the actual game. But even then, he had like one of the best completion percentages under pressure. Debo Samuels will always give you yards after the catch. Nah, that's a fact, and that's the reason. That's the reason why he's so dangerous. Is because he gets those yards after the catch. Is what makes this guy so. And it's not just him. It's not just him. It's Christian McCaffrey though too, and George Kittle. Christian McCaffrey, I wouldn't put him in the same stratosphere as those other two guys, but George Kittle and Debo Samuel, when those two guys are playing against are in their respective positions, I basically consider them almost the same player. Like they're both those type of cats. They have that different, they have that different thing about them. They it's almost like they're the face of what that 49 offense plays like, you know. And then with George Kittle though too, he's a really good blocker as a tight end, right? And then I've already made my spiel. I already had my spiel about what's going on with Debo, man. So to come to a conclusion, at least to this game with the Seahawks and 49ers, I mean, for the most part, I would say throughout the weekend with a lot of these games, a lot of those mistakes that you would see in the regular season, they would start to they'll start to show a lot and a lot more. And as this game just got, as this game just went on and on, it was clear that the 49ers were just a better team. And then you can clearly see that, in the second half when the Seahawks only scored 6 points. So I got to clap it up to, for the Seahawks. for even coming this far and beating the odds and going to the playoffs like nobody thought they would. But Buck stops here for the Seahawks, right? Brandon Ayuk, the secret weapon out of the bunch, bro, is legit as well. Nah, for sure. I 100% agree with that. You know what? Let me even put the chat up on the screen. Anything new comments? Okay. Oh, there was no new comments. But Brandon Ayuk, and that's what I'm saying though too. With Brock Purdy, I think they complement each other. And like with Jimmy G, he wasn't really they weren't really taking risks like that with Jimmy G. They weren't throwing the ball like that with Jimmy G. Like Kyle Shanahan, he's able to take a lot of risks. With Brock Purdy because he's a fresh young talent. He's from Iowa. He's from Iowa State, I believe. And he came out. He was a decent enough player in college. And in the conference that he was in. But coming into the league, and then you got all these weapons around you, and you have the number one defense. I mean, come on now. It's like almost hard not to ball in this situation. But you know what? I'm not taking anything away from him, though. I'm not taking anything away from him for sure. He deserves all the credit, because at the end of the day, man, and as a quarterback, you coming in, and you're just like mystery relevant, the last pick. You're coming in to play for a team that has Super Bowl aspirations. I mean, just from that standpoint, is a lot of pressure from somebody that's just coming out of college, you know. But with that being said, though, man, I mean, for me personally, I got the Niners going all the way to the bowl, right? And then we could talk about it from there. So I do want to bring up another game because I did say we were going to tap into all of the games this weekend, right? I did. That's right. I know we gotta talk about it. I'm gonna move my screen and get rid of this chat overlay for a second. But my New York Giants beat the Minnesota Vikings this weekend. That's right. You whooped that ass. Come on now. And I picked them. I wish, you know what though? I regret not making a video before playoff weekend. So at least y'all can hold me accountable to my picks. The only one I got wrong this week, the only one I got wrong was the Bucks and Cowboys. That was the only pick I got wrong. Right? Of course I had the Niners winning. I had the Niners, I had the Bills, I had my Giants, I had the Bengals, and then the Bucks. Right? Giants versus 49ers NFC Championship. Hey, bro. Hey, if it comes down to that, man, hey, it's going. I would love to see it though. Hey, that'll be that 2011 rematch, right? But I'm not gonna hold y'all though. Y'all gonna spank us though. That's gonna be a rough day for us, bro. Like, I'm not even gonna try to dispute it. You know, that's gonna be a tough one for sure. Because your team is just like, I can't talk all this about your team. With the Niners, I can't boost them up the way they do and be like, my team is better. Like, nah, man, we got some holes, bro. We got some holes. Especially, we need to beef up that offensive line before we can even face a team like you guys, man. Because that defensive front on the Niners is dangerous, right? And that's obviously including Nick Bosa, who led this year in sacks with 18 and a half sacks on the year. Right? So, I mean, the Niners is clearly dangerous. They're doing their thing. And I think they have like one of the best linebacking core too. I can't name some names off the top of my head, but I mean, I watched enough football to understand, what's going on with the linebackers, who's making they were making a lot of stops in the second half, a lot of big plays in the second half, which is why that defense was so effective against the running game. You guys are due to beat the Eagles. I believe y'all will win. I hope we will win. Honestly, that for me, I mean, the game plan. I see Brian Dable definitely coming up with a game plan um, that would be effective against the Eagles. The only thing is, I mean, from what I've seen, at least in the playoffs, like all those little mistakes, all the things that you were bad in, all the things that you were great in, they start to, uh, they start to shine brighter in the playoffs, especially against great teams. Right now, I'm not going to negate the fact that the Giants are going to go in there and completely fucking shit the sheets. That's not what I'm going to say. At least, and not at this point. You know, but I believe they're gonna come out there with knowing what's at stake, knowing what's going on, knowing that this is a division rival, by the way, because I'm not going to tolerate us going in there and getting spanked by a division rival in the playoffs. Come on now, we gotta keep it a stack here. I mean, hey, I'll be a traitor if I were to say we gonna go in there and get spanked. I just have my doubts because I am convinced on the Eagles. The same way I look the Niners, I look at the Eagles just a tad bit in that same stratosphere. But I'm higher on the 49ers than I am on the Eagles. And one big reason is because of Jalen Hurts. Even though he played extremely well this year, um, in his standards, to be fair. Honestly, he played great overall. I think he played great overall, right? And he deserves to be an MVP finalist though too. So got to give shout out to Jalen Hurts for balling out and becoming the player that he was supposed to be and growing from last season. But one thing that we do got to bring up is that shoulder injury. How is he going to be when this playoff game comes up? He missed two straight games and then came out in that last game against our Giants, who was the second string, by the way. So they beat us barely with second string players, right? They had all their first string players, and then we didn't have none of our players. We didn't have none of our crucial players starting that game, and we still barely lost, right? So they were definitely throwing a lot in that game, and I think Jalen Hurts, he threw like three interceptions in that game, if I'm not mistaken. They were like three turnovers, right? And so my thing with the Giants, man, is obviously a lot of it is going to be on Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, right? He's not Danny Doodoo anymore. I apologize, man. I gotta take that away. That's disrespectful as hell. But I mean, hey, man, that's New York media. Hey, if you shit around, you f around on the New York team. I mean, come on, bro. It's not only me. It's not only me. We were all sold on. But you know what? He came out this year. He did his thing. He put the team on his back, though. You feel me? This game against the Minnesota Vikings is all due to Daniel Dimes. Danny Dimes, right? He got his nickname back. Come on now. We call him Danny Dimes. Danny Dimes out here, no turnovers. And that's one of the biggest things why that's one of the biggest things that I talked about when it came to Daniel Jones. It's not that it was turnovers for the most part, because one of the biggest stats up until the beginning of the year, I think he had like 50 touchdowns and 49 total turnovers. This guy was like if any of you guys ever watched the comebacks, remember the quarterback that couldn't hold on to the ball? Like every time the quarterback, he was the quarter. Whenever he had the ball, he would always fumble it. That's how I looked at Danny. That's how I look at Danny Dimes. He couldn't hang on to the ball worth a shit. But the one thing about it is he had legs, he had wheels, and he wasn't a horrible thrower of the ball, right? It's just decision making, and obviously the turnovers. Now, I did say in the past, and may or may not have been on the stream, but I did say, buddy, if he can fix those turnovers, there might be something there. And then obviously the second part about it is decision making, right? But he got so much better, exponentially better under Brian Dable. Honestly, I'm thoroughly impressed on the job that Brian Dable did. Like, and it's not, this is not to knock any coach, but this is probably one of the best coaching jobs I've seen in a long time. in a long time, for real, for real. I mean, there's still a bunch. I'm just trying to isolate this particular situation because even though I thought our roster was decent or moderate or just it was, I felt like we had some decent players on our roster. We always had a decent enough defense. This is that Joe Judge was just terrible as a head coach, but he came, but Brian Dable came in with the experience that he had with a quarterback like Josh Allen, and then coming over here and realizing, hey, I have Saquon Barkley, I have a running game also, right? You have two guys who are versatile, right? Uh, Saquon Barkley, who's top five in total scrimmage yards, and then you have Daniel Jones, right? Who you can mold into uh, into a smarter quarterback, right? Now I'm saying that he's dumb, but like just make better decisions. Go through your reads, and then if something flops, use your legs. Because clearly he can make plays with his legs, right? And I'm loving what I'm seeing, man. Right, so he came out, he led um he led the team in rushing yards and passing yards, right? And then Saquon Barkley had 2 touchdowns on the ground, and we got to clap it up for the receivers too, because Billinger, the tight end, is a rookie, right? Darius Slayton has always been there, but I know about Darius Slayton, man. He's been there for a good minute, but he's a young guy though, right? And then the other guy's name, number 18, Jesus Christ, what's the other guy's name? Hodgins, my fault, yeah, because he was the only receiver to be up over 100 yards that game, and he's the only guy to have that a touch. He's the only other wide receiver to have a touchdown. Right, and then he made that huge grab on the sideline, which was a huge play. Hey, that throw by Danny Dimes was damn. That was like Eli Manning in the 2011 Super Bowl when he threw that pass to Mario Manningham. It was not that great, like up to that level. But I'm saying the situation was almost very similar. That was a clutch. That was a really really clutch throw. I'm not gonna hold you. That was a great play. So we came out, we did our thing. I said from the beginning that this team was going to beat the Minnesota Vikings. I just didn't know by how much. I didn't think they were going to blow them out, but I definitely knew this was going to be an extremely competitive game. And at the day, we did our thing. Kirk Cousins, you like that? I sure do. Right. So the next game now, right, is the all right, we can still talk about it for a little bit. Unless like I said, man, if y'all have anything that pop up on your minds, hey, I always say, hey, get in the chat. Get in the chat, man. I'll switch it up. Right. So Dolphins and the Bills, right? This was a good game though. This was a good game. So let me not knock it. Yeah. This was definitely a good game though, for sure. Dolphins and Bills, right? Damn. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought real quick. But the thing about with the Bills, right? And it was almost like the last game, with the Bills and Dolphins. Like the total yards, like they damn near totaled their total yards, right? And then when it comes, and Josh Allen, obviously, they're doing their thing with Josh Allen. They're running their entire offense through Josh Allen. But there were definitely some key plays in this game. It was just like that game was what before that was before the Giants game, right? But the thing that I do want to take away from this game, right? The first thing that pops up to mind, I should have taken some notes on this game. Was Josh Allen the turnovers, because he did have he had like 2 turnovers in that game, right? But Steven Thompson, the quarterback for the Dolphins, hey man, the Dolphins, they kept this one in the game. They made it a game. They let it know that they weren't just going to give up this opportunity. I think they had a fair chance. They had a very, very, very fair chance to win this game. I think it was back down in their own. Was it in their own end of the field? And then there was a touch. There was an interception where they threw. I think he was. I didn't even think. No, it wasn't to Tyreek Hill. It was. I think it was like number 18 or something like that. And then it got interception, right? But this was just the result of just lack of just not having a healthy roster. Tua Tagovailoa, right, is due to still continue and have a career next year, so he's set to come back next year. But this team has just been going through a lot of ups and downs. The end of the year, right, they had lost like 5 straight games, so they were in a pretty tough spot. But I mean, hey, you're going against the number one seed in their own division. I mean, they know this team. They knew this team. The Dolphins knew how to play this team, and they were still out there making plays, capitalizing off turnovers, right? And that's one thing that Josh Allen needs to spruce up, especially further down the road if they want to be the playoff, the Super Bowl favorites that everybody's been talking about prior to the season, right? And then they got another tough matchup coming up right now, right? Bills and Bengals, man. Bills and Bengals. So we going to get into that later in the week. I don't want to talk about any predictions right now. I want to just keep. I just want to kind of talk about what went on this week, right? But the Bills, man. I mean, they got expected win. I mean, they had like one of the highest spreads in NFL history. I think it was like 13 and a half points. So not a lot of people thought this game, a lot of people thought this game was probably going to be a blowout, damn near. So if you bet within that spread, I mean, hey, you still won some money. Right? So that's a good one. So but yeah, man, this game for sure, it was a good game. Bills did their thing. It was a scare. It was a small little scare, but they got they handled their business. Now it's on to the next one, and it's on to the Bills and Bengals. Right? I don't want to talk about that game though. Save it for the next video. Right. So another game now that was exciting. Right, was the Ravens and Bengals, man. So this was another exciting game. Baltimore Ravens, they came out to play. They was even though they didn't have Lamar Jackson, that's another story, right? That we can probably tap in to after this though. But they really tried to establish the rushing game. Even the fact that they didn't have Lamar. J.K. Dobbins, Hundley. And Hundley, surprisingly, he came out. He had a decent enough game. It was almost very similar to the type of game that Geno Smith had. You know, but I would say it was still it was decent enough. He came in as a game manager. J.K. Dobbins was rushing well. Huntley also scrambling, using his legs, very Lamar-like. I mean, I think, having Huntley was complimentary to this offense, because they didn't want to switch it up. They didn't want to be a completely different team with a guy that's probably not, the same type of player as Lamar. I mean, they've catered this whole offense to Lamar. So I think that was a really good roster decision to have Huntley in there, even though they didn't win that game. But for the most part, like the Ravens, they kept it close. They kept, like they weren't giving the Bengals an easy win, even though they were favorites in this game. But with the Bengals, though, too, one thing that we do got to take away from this going into next weekend is that the Bengals are hurt, man. They lost like what, three linemen so far, and even though the Bills don't have even though the Bills don't have Von Miller, that's still a good defense. They're just not the defense we thought was going to be going into this week, right? So with the Bengals, even though we've seen Joe Burrow just be under so much pressure, and Micah Hyde though too. Micah Hyde is out though too, so that's also a very crucial thing, especially with your safety, especially when you have the type of receiving cores that the Bengals have. Right. So for the most part, man, the Bengals, Joe Burrow, Joe Beasy doing his thing, no turnovers, 209 yards, but still got sacked 4 times in that game. So this playoffs is going to look really similar as last year. But this game was, for the most part, was a defensive game. They were, Joe Burrow got sacked 4 times in that game, but he was still somewhat efficient. There was relatively no rushing game on the Bengals end, but Jamar Chase got his touchdown. Higgins only 4 receptions for 37 yards, but it felt like every passing yard was crucial. Every passing yard was needed, because these two teams know each other. It's Ravens and Bengals. They play each other 2 times a year. So what's another one? You know, but they did their thing, man. Ravens, they came, they showed out. People, I think something came out that J.K. I don't even think J.K. Dobbins came out and said if they had Lamar, they probably would have won that game, or they would have won that game. I respectfully disagree. I mean, honestly, nah, you can't even say that because the Ravens are a good team with Lamar, and especially looking at the way this game went without Lamar. I mean, they could have had a good chance against against the Bengals. That rushing game definitely would have been a lot more electrifying with Lamar. So they were rushing particularly well. Actually, let me compare their rushing yardage in that game, right? So the Ravens out without Lamar. Wait, passing yard. I thought Joe Burrow had like 202 passing yards. Why does it say 109? It's interesting. Yeah, that is interesting. And look at this though too. Ravens had 23 first downs compared to so they had more first downs, and the problem is the turnovers. But with them rushing the ball, that's gonna increase their time of possession. All right. So if we look at recent games, these are all. Yeah. So these were all the other games. Oh, these are just all these other recent games, the most recent games they play. All right, let me get back on schedule. Let me get back on schedule. All right, next game though. Oh, oh, how can I forget? The Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Los A. I'm fucking up. All right. So the Jacksonville Jaguars and the LA Chargers. Y'all would be surprised, man. Y'all would be shocked to hear this though. But I'm one of those people who picked the Jaguars to win this game. Um, Reason being, I just seen good momentum from the Jaguars going into the playoffs. They weren't projected to even really uh I don't know what a lot of people were thinking, but I thought they were going to be better this year. Getting Urban Meyer the hell up out of there after that bullshit coaching performance that he had last year. And just with Travis Etienne coming back and them making some changes, and Doug Peterson as now as the head coach, coming in and switching this team up. They kept that mentality. They stuck with the game plan. Trevor Lawrence makes mistakes more than you like than that he should. He's almost like a Ben Roethlisberger type of dude. Type of guy that makes those type of mistakes. But at the end of the day, he threw 4 interceptions in just the first half. I believe what was it the first quarter, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. It had to be the first quarter. Interception. Yeah, all of them were in the first quarter. And then wait, no, he had to throw another one. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no, there was. Yeah, so it was all 4 in the first half. 3 were in the first quarter. right? So they were down 27. They were down 27 to nothing at some point in this game. Look, 27-0. 27-0. Right? This game was looking like it was over. It was done data. It was poo-poo. Up until things started to change. And you know what? I believed in it because for me, I'm one of those guys. A game not over until it's over. We've seen so many comebacks. We've seen so much bullshit happen in an NFL game that I'm not gonna sit here and tell you a game is over until it's over. Right? You got to see the comeback, man. You got to at least wait till the fourth quarter till you could talk that, you could talk that type of shit, till you can be on that time. But as the things started to progress, right? They got in a score uh late in the first half. Right? So they did get in a score late in the first, and then who had that score? Right? It was Evan Ingram, right? A former Giant too, by the way, a former New York Giant, right? So they had a late score. So that's when things started to. I feel like they were built. That's at that point. That's when they were building up momentum. You already know them halftime speeches, coaches spitting and yelling at you, telling you ain't shit, and then telling you, "Look, I believe in your son." The old traditional Al Pacino type of any given Sunday speech. All right, so they came out. Chargers. They couldn't produce. They produced almost zero to no offense in the second half. Like, let's keep it a stack. Let's keep it 100 here. They produced almost no offense in the second half. And that's the reason why they fired, they fired their coaches, their offensive coordinators, right? Actually, let me switch this up, man. Let me switch it up to something where you guys can get a little bit more context. All right, switch it up. But yeah, man. So the Chargers became the first team in NFL playoff history to lose with a 5+ turnover margin. Right? Like, God damn, bro. Shit's getting wicked out here. So they had, there was another huge comeback, and the Chargers kept coming. They kept coming. Right? Who scored the second touchdown? It was Marvin Jones Jr. And that connection, and whoever made the decision to get Travis Etienne. What's up, Void? How you doing, bro? Appreciate the love, of course. All right. But with the decision to get Travis Etienne with Trevor Lawrence, that was a phenomenal decision. Getting two guys who have played with each other through college. I mean, it's almost the same thing with the Bengals and on the Bengals with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, right? And we've seen what they've done, right? So if you bring some familiarity with some of these rookie quarterbacks, right, so to help them get more comfortable, at least when they're trying to establish themselves in the league, right? So Trevor Lawrence came out and just kept the consistency, man. A lot of guys would shrivel up after throwing 4 picks. A team would give up after a QB throws 4 picks in the first half, but they kept at it, man. They kept at it, right? Let's admit it, a lot of teams would have given up for sure. And then once things started to get close, I would say, yeah, things started to get close when after that after the LA Chargers kicked that field goal, and then they came back and then Zay Jones had another touchdown. You see this 39-yarder right here. You know what though? I feel like I should just bring up the games. Like, I feel like, but that's, I'm just gonna have like the replays instead of just going play by play. But that's why I said why I was going for so long. I was trying to get OBS, syncing up so I can be able to kind of like go over some highlights at least. I don't want to just keep talking about them, but so yeah, after that 39 yarder with Zay Jones, they came back, they scored, right? And then so in the fourth quarter, the Chargers missed a field goal uh, in the beginning of the fourth. So they had 14 plays going down 53 yards, right? And Everett was having, out of all the receivers, I think Everett, the tight end, was having the best receiving game on the Chargers, if I'm not mistaken. I can even, yes. So he had 6 receptions for 109 yards and a touchdown. Plays, scoring drives, just the scoring drives, right? And then so right here when they had in the fourth, that's they had a score. Where was it? Where was it? There was a bunch of BS penalties here though too. Oh yeah, it was to Christian Kirk right here at 5:30. Completion short pass to Christian Kirk for that 9 yards. So that right there had tied up the game, or not tied up the game. I'm sorry, my apologies. That's not true. It was 30-28. All right, so that field goal definitely hurt them when they missed. When the Chargers missed that field goal. I'm just trying to. And then the Jaguars, they get down, and then they kick that 36-yard field goal. Right. So at the end of the day, my assessment. All right. So let's go back to the assessment because I know I was kind of like breaking down the game a little bit. Um. So that game, right? I mean, with the Chargers. So I'm gonna talk about the Chargers here a little bit. Because I had a personal opinion. And it isn't my opinion, but I felt like that coaching hire with what's his name was a mistake, right? I mean, came out of nowhere. I mean, where he was the defensive coordinator for the Rams. That's why he got the job, right? But I mean, just and so I mean, he's probably leaning towards defense, but even then, besides those turnovers, besides those interceptions, I mean, they weren't really making any stops further down the game. You're supposed to be a defensive coach, and even then, that's probably the reason why, with the headlines that recently just happened, with them firing the offensive staff. I want to read more about this to understand why they fired the offensive staff. You know, because the Chargers, there was a plethora of mistakes leading up into the playoff. I was convinced on them in the beginning of the season. I thought this team was going to go far in the playoffs. At least bare minimum, they could go to the AFC Championship game. But further, as the season progressed, especially with that injury with Mike Williams, it was like, what are you doing? What's going on? Why are you playing your starters in a game that didn't even matter? The Chargers had really played with all of their guys, on the together, with Keenan Allen, with Mike Williams, with Everett and Eichler, all those guys all together, they've really had them play together throughout the entire season. So the chance when you finally have that opportunity, it flops, you know? And then so with the Jaguars, with the team that was starting to build momentum, right? The Tennessee Titans were leading in that division, and then the Jaguars started to creep up more and more and more and more. They started winning games, and this was the result of it. So I don't believe that the Jacksonville Jaguars were a better team than the Jaguars. I mean, than the Chargers. It's just they came out to play. Despite the mistakes, despite the turnovers, they came to play. And how many times did he get sacked in that game, though, too? I'm talking about Justin Herbert. Yeah, so he was sacked 3 times in that game. But even then, he was 20. He threw 25. He completed 25 passes out of 43 attempts. Right, so that's probably like a little bit over 50%. That's a little bit over 50%. Right, Austin Eichler didn't have a great game neither. 13 carries. They should have given him the ball more. And they were using time. Oh, I can't believe I forget about this. They were using unnecessary timeouts. You are up 20. What was it? 27-7. Why are you using timeouts? You're up. You're winning. You feel me? Like, come on now. What's going on here? Homie, so it's almost like they gave the Jaguars that game on a platter, on a silver platter, right? So, all right, so now to the big kahua, the big game, the big game that everyone is talking about. I'm just going to take myself off screen a little bit momentarily. I'm pretty sure you guys didn't hear me off that last spiel I just had. I was saying, hey, I'm still trying to work out some things. So if there's some small technical issues, um, I'm still a newbie. I just had to take off my camera though for just for a little bit. But yeah, man, this was the game to see that that everybody was talking about. I mean, I think the game of the week. Actually, you know what? We'll get into that a little bit later. Let's get into this breakdown though. So the Cowboys and the Bucks, man, this was an embarrassing game to say the least. At least for the on the Bucks end. Tom Brady for the first time, man, he looked done data. He looked old. He looked like he just couldn't. He couldn't come up in the clutch, man. And all this came down to Byron Leftwich's job being on the line. They fired him, the offensive coordinator. And I've in the thing about the Bucks though too. I mean, they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. Let me move that a little bit over here. Ah, looks like I need to change some shit up though. um, but yeah, man. So with the Buccaneers, man, yeah, those mistakes that they had, like not being able to establish a run, throwing way too often with a guy who's 45 years old. My thing about with the Bucks, right? I felt like they gave Tom Brady all the keys when they needed to give him proper help. Like, we get the fact that as an older guy, you want receivers, but let's keep it 100 here, man. You need a running game. When the older you get, you need a running game. 1 second though. But yeah, man. Let me switch this up a little bit. But yeah, man. The older you get, especially when your quarterback is getting older, you gotta have a running game, man. I mean, just think about it. Think about that year. What was it? When the Tennessee Titans went 13-3 and they lost to the Jets in the playoffs. Right? They had a dual running back combo. I don't know if some of you guys even remember that. Right? When they had Lendale White and Chris Johnson in the backfield. This is when Chris Johnson was a rookie coming into the league, not knowing who he was, not knowing that he was going to have a 2,000-yard rushing year. But you got to establish a dominant running game, especially when later on when you have Rashad White. You can't abandon the running game. And then Cowboys clearly came to play. And going back to the statement that I said in the beginning, where in the playoffs, your mistakes shine brighter in the playoffs. So throughout this whole season, the Cowboys, the Bucks just weren't a great team. And if they were in any other division, they probably wouldn't even be in the playoffs. If I'm going to keep it 100 with you, Tom Brady, for the most part, he wasn't really playing like Tom Brady usually does. They were lacking in big plays. I believe, they were last on the year when it comes to rushing yardage. And especially a team like Dallas, man, you got to be able to run the ball. That's what's going to wear them out. You've had injuries on the front line. You've had injuries on your offensive line throughout the whole year. What makes you think you can pass the ball 66 times when you've barely had protection this year, man? They should have established the run. And I know I'm probably sounding like every other journalist, TV analyst, whatever. And then going back to into the Cowboys, because I did pick the Bucks to win. So I'm kind of shitting all over my pick. But the Cowboys came to play, man. Despite that first drive, Dak Prescott did his thing. He did his thing. Let me bring that up though too. Let me bring up the numbers. Dak Prescott had 305 yards passing, 25 completions on 33 attempts, 4 touchdowns on the day, right? And then even had a rushing touchdown. Tony Pollard, how many yards did he average per carry? So Tony Pollard averaging 5.1 yards per carry, so relatively average. Ezekiel Elliott, not so much, right? He had 13 carries, 2 less than Tony Pollard. But it's really the 1-2 punch combo. And then Dak Prescott also, we know he could do things with his leg, which is what ultimately, had him extremely effective. The Bucks couldn't contain him. So through and through, man, I mean, basically the Cowboys were able to get whatever they wanted against that Tampa Bay defense. That shut down Tampa defense that we've seen a couple years ago when they had slaughtered the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. That is clearly not the same team. That's clearly not the same defense that it once was, especially when it comes to that pass rush, because Dak Prescott had all freaking day to pass the ball, which is why he was so effective. Right. So, I mean, with this game though, too, this just showed that Dallas Cowboys, are a Super Bowl contending team. They do have the defense to stand on. Dak Prescott, based on what we've seen, puts this team, it gives this team a competitive edge. Right. Money, what's up, baby? How you doing? Thanks for showing love, man. Right. And yeah, man, the Cowboys, man, they were able to just really just do whatever they wanted, and then from here on out, I mean, it showed that they're here for a reason. I mean, they have a winning record, right? They're 12-5. They won 12 games on the year, so they're not bad. They've had some slip ups, as every NFL team does, right? The Minnesota Vikings definitely did, but they played against a team that they were legitimately better than. They were a team that that they've been better than throughout the entire year. Dak, had some slip ups. He threw multiple intercept. He led the league in interceptions this year, even though he missed 5 games, 4 or 5 games. But still coming into this playoff game, he threw no interceptions, no turnovers. And so for the Cowboys, I think this was the first road win they've had since 1994? Since the 1990s? I don't know the particular year, but since the 1990s, the Cowboys haven't won a road playoff win. They got it in Tampa against Tom Brady. Mom, I can't think of a sweeter way to key off, to get a key win in the playoffs. For real, for real. And even in the past 2 matchups, they were 0-2 against Tom Brady on the Bucks. Even though Tom Brady is 8-0, or now 8-1 against the Dallas Cowboys. All right, so this team definitely came out to win. They did their thing, and shout out to them. So we're gonna see, we gonna see what what that's looking like. My fault. So we're gonna see what that's looking like in the near future for this coming week. Now we really talk about anything up until this point. I'm gonna tap into Brady needs to hang it up. I want to see your Giants get that dub. Congrats. Yeah, I know. I was talking about it, man. I was talking about it. Hey, I'm glad you remembered. Nah, for sure, man. It was a great win. It was a great win for sure. Uh, and I picked it. Obviously, I picked them to beat the Minnesota Vikings. But key thing about it is it's just a game plan. How they executed. Danny Dimes just putting the team on his back, man. Just doing his thing, putting the team on his back. No turnovers, right? Even though Saquon Barkley is the clear, best player on this team. But they circulated them. They circulated a lot of. I'm sorry. They put a lot of good players around him. The difference is, what makes this team better compared to last year is Saquon Barkley is back. He was hurt the previous 2 years. And I shitted on Daniel Jones, because I wasn't convinced, but I never shitted on Saquon Barkley. My thing about it was I didn't know about his longevity and would he be able to play in this league for a long time. Just due to injuries though, not because of his ability. And the fact that we're playing with guys at the receivers, as receivers that we didn't even expect. Some of these guys are on the playoff squad, on the practice squad, man. So and that's kind of like what I was getting into earlier, just kind of with that whole thing, you know. Let me see though. Some things I want to tap into, probably bring up, because I know there's some more news. Let me see. Okay. All right. This is a nice little interesting topic. Nice little interesting topic right here. Let me pause this. Uh, okay. I got it now. All right. So right there, man. Uh, So basically, to sum it all up, Aaron Rodgers had another interview with Pat McAfee, and he stated that he could be an MVP in the right situation. Right. So there's something we gotta talk about there, man. Aaron Rodgers, this freaking guy, man. The guy who I picked to win the Super Bowl last year, came up dog shit again this year. Right? Against their rivals, the Detroit Lions, right? A team that they've beaten continuously in their division. All they had to do was win this game and they would have been in, right? Seahawks were in, but they needed the Packers to lose to win this to be in the playoffs. And they couldn't do that, man. Like, Aaron Rodgers, and I think with a lot of analysts, especially Shannon Sharp, people, how he tries to change the narrative, shift the narrative here a bit. Like, come on now, bro. You've stunk it up. You stunk it up, bro. You feel me? You stunk it up in the past 2 years. He's talking about MVP. You talking about MVP, bro? You shouldn't even be thinking about no MVP right now. You should be thinking about a Super Bowl. Say I think I can win a Super Bowl in the right situation. So switch those words up. Bump the MVP. Talk about the Super Bowl, bro. Talk about winning a championship. You feel me? That's what they on your ass about. Like, come on now. And then so with Aaron Rodgers, man, it's just like a diva, really a diva, bro. And something that really struck me, and I know this is kind of relating to what Stephen A. said on First Take, when he brought up, or when there was an interview with Aaron Rodgers, and they were asking him the week of the Detroit Lions game, and they were like, and he had said, yeah, whether he was talking about leaving Green Bay, retiring. And I'm thinking to myself, and these are my legit thoughts. I legitimately thought this. Why the fuck are you talking about retiring when you're in a position to be in the playoffs? You get what I'm saying? Like, and to be fair, it could have been a question that was asked to him. It could have been something that was brought to his attention. But me as a player, right? If I'm in that position, I'm be like, look, man, I ain't thinking about that right now. I ain't thinking about that right now. I'm thinking about the game. I'm thinking about this game. I'm thinking about this game coming up. I'm not thinking about retirement. I got to win this game so I can go to the playoffs and be in a chance and have a chance to win a championship. That should have been his mindset. That's what he should have been pushing. You get what I'm saying? It would have been different if he came up short. It would have been different if he came up short, and then at least he would have had that mentality, because in a lot of ways, a lot was against the Green Bay Packers. As this team got better and better, he's talking about being an MVP in the right situation. I felt like you had a good situation, bro. I put this whole situation with why Devontae Adams had left the Green Bay Packers to begin with, was because Aaron Rodgers was just too all over the place on what he wanted to do. He was talking about, I'm gonna retire, I'm taking ayahuasca, whatever. You get what I'm saying? So it's like Devontae Adams is thinking, look, man, I don't know what you doing, I don't know what your intentions are, but I ain't staying in Green Bay, Wisconsin. You feel me? That man played up in Fresno. He said, let me take my ass to Las Vegas. And I feel like, honestly, both players, Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers, lost in this situation, because both teams didn't make the playoffs, right? I mean, that's really it. Both teams didn't make the playoffs. So you can say that both teams got considerably worse without that collaboration. You know what I mean? Even though the Packers did get better later on, it was literally down to one game for the Packers, at least on Devontae Adams' part, right? He was still an all-pro wide receiver. He was still putting up phenomenal numbers. But he wasn't in a position to compete, and I don't think that's on, the Raiders. I don't think that's on him. My fault. I don't think that's on him necessarily, because the Raiders have had really poor defense for a long time, and I can get into that situation with Derek Carr and why they're letting him go. And you've had one of the worst defenses in the league. You know what I'm saying? So I believe, like, if Devontae Adams had at least, I think he was willing to get a franchise tag. But I think the biggest thing about it was, with Aaron Rodgers just being so all over the place, not knowing what to do, I don't think Devontae Adams would have risked going on a franchise tag, when you don't know what your coworkers' intentions are. So I don't blame Devontae Adams for leaving and getting paid. At the end of the day, he got the bag. Got the bag, right? But hey, it didn't work out this year for the Raiders. It didn't work out this year for the Raiders. But hey, man, at the end of the day, there's always next year. There's always next year, man. There's next year. But as far as when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, man, going back to what I previously stated, he can't. This stuff about Aaron Rodgers, man, he's gonna keep taking hits throughout his career. He's gonna keep taking hits like this throughout his career, man. When you're taking L's, when it really matters, you haven't won a Super Bowl in damn near over a decade, or at least have a Super Bowl appearance. Like later on now, this is starting to ramp up. These L's are starting to build up. They're starting to build up here really quickly, and people are looking at that and shunning that. And this is what's taking Aaron Rodgers out of that legitimate. I wouldn't say GOAT conversation because Tom Brady has that damn near locked on right now. But with with Aaron Rodgers, obviously, there's a certain tier of guys on how they're looked at and how they're received. Like you look at some quarterbacks and you're like, this guy, he did it. He did what he needed to do. He fulfilled his individual goals and accomplishments on what he needed to do as an individual, right? And what I mean by that, right, is that every quarterback is not going to get every, they're not going to get every accomplishment. Not every quarterback is going to get, 7 Super Bowls like Tom Brady. Not everybody's going to lead the year, is going to be an all-time passing leader, all-time touchdown leader. With a lot of quarterbacks, it's situational. You get what I'm saying? It's situational. So what I mean by that is like whatever the situation requires out of you, you have to fulfill that obligation, right? And I'll give an example. Every quarterback, right? At least if you're going to be in that top tier conversation of tier 1, first ballot Hall of Famer, bare minimum, you should win MVP. Maybe that's optional, but it helps. It certainly helps, though, right? Win MVP and win a Super Bowl, and then obviously you get all the things in between, like maybe an All Pro, Pro Bowl selections. Obviously Pro Bowl selections, that's a vote, right? So I think with All Pro that narrows it down a lot, and I do know that there are some Pro Bowl. There was a Pro Bowl All Pro honors that I did want to bring up. All right, I can't find it. I know it's in my phone though. Let me see. Let me put it on Discord real quick. Put it on Discord. All Pro. Where they at? Where they at though? Okay, right here. All right, that's up. But yeah, All Pro honors, right? And then depending on how great you are as a quarterback, you might need a second one. You might need a second Super Bowl. And in Aaron Rodgers situation, Aaron Rodgers particular situation, right? It's like it's so spread out. It was almost like the situation with Tom Brady. When he won his first 3 Super Bowls in the front part of his career. When he had a great defense, and they leaned on him as a game manager rather than what the role that he had in the latter part of his New England Patriot career, or his time with the New England Patriots at that time, right? So as things started to, and not to mention he had been to a couple Super Bowls and had lost. He had lost a couple, right? Wink, wink, New York Giants, right? We don't gotta bring that up though, right? So Tom Brady fulfilled what he needed to do. He got another Super Bowl championship after that long decade of not having one, right? And then we bringing up the 20, we talking about 2007 when they went undefeated, right? We talking about 2011, right? When they were, I mean, they were a dynasty. They were like one of the best teams in the league as long as Tom Brady was on that team, right? And then so that's just Tom Brady. With Ben Roethlisberger, he's not even a guy that's looked at um in the same conversation as Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, right? And I'll bring up Peyton Manning, but with Ben Roethlisberger, he won two. He has two Super Bowls, right? And in each game, you can arguably say that Ben Roethlisberger was a big contributor in that offense. We talking about especially in that second year. And that was the time when Ben Roethlisberger was using his legs, running around the pocket, extending the play. And what they had Mike. If I know they had San Antonio, that was the year against the Arizona Cardinals, right? When San Antonio Holmes made that catch at the end, and Larry Fitzgerald. That's when Larry Fitzgerald and Anquan Bolden were playing on the same team together, with Kurt Warner as quarterback. They were on another run, right? So, I mean, it's sad. Well, I wouldn't say it's sad. That's just the first. I don't know why that's the first thing that came up in my head. But my thing about it is, man, you get the point, right? Peyton Manning, right, was a guy who's continuously they would bring up, his playoff woes, him losing to Brady continuously, right? Then he does one year, and then they get blown out by the Seattle Seahawks. And then that last year, he wasn't really the same. Father Time came up on Peyton Manning pretty quickly. But he got two Super Bowls for all it's worth. For all it's worth, he got that second Super Bowl. But they had an outstanding defense, probably one of the best defenses in modern time to win it to win a Super Bowl, including the Baltimore Ravens, of course, right? But you get my point. When the opportunity sinks in for you to capitalize on a moment that's required of you, especially in a public light as an athlete, you got to thrive for it. It's okay not to follow through, because anything can happen, man. Especially in sports, playoffs, you're playing against other great teams, other great players. It's not that I'm saying that Aaron Rodgers is not trying to win a Super Bowl. That's not what I'm saying. But fact of the matter is, God damn, you gotta at least get to one. I mean, 0-4 against the 49ers, right, in the playoffs. Didn't even make the playoffs this year. Number 1 seed got bounced in the first round of the divisional round. Come on, man. You feel me? And then it's like since that collapse at home, by the way, since that collapse, it's like going into this year, it didn't even feel like he really even cared, to keep it honest. But maybe he was just, Aaron Rodgers is known to be like a cool, calm, collected guy, not really feel like things trying to brush things off. Maybe he does think about it. He does probably think about it. But my thing about it is, let us know that you're thinking about it. Let us know that you do care. Remind us that you care. And this is his career, it's not mine. Shit. I wish I was Aaron Rodgers. Shit. I hey, but at the end of the day, man, you just gotta let me know, man, what your intentions are. And I feel like with Aaron Rodgers and the sub messages and not really giving answers but raising more questions, that shit gotta stop, man. That shit gotta stop, bro. It's so cringy. It's so weird, bro. Like, I don't know, man. Should have it was a flop, bro. But I mean, if Aaron Rodgers comes back, if he comes back and he plays another year, with the Packers, I mean, shit, he's set. He averages $50 million a year, right? He's on contract. Why would he retire? I wouldn't. See me up in Green Bay. Come on now, feel me? But we'll see, man. But I think there's definitely some there's something to look forward to in Green Bay, though. I mean, they're not a bad team. They're not. I think what they should be doing is probably maybe get another receiver, get a tight end, for this dude, man. Probably even get another receiver. And I feel like with Dobbs and Christian Watson, who definitely came out and did his thing this year. But they gotta get some. They gotta get some new. They gotta get some fresh, some more players in there. Definitely invest. Use those picks to invest in Aaron Rodgers, because you have him on contract. My thing about it is, what are they gonna do with Jordan Love? Because hey, let us know. Waste of a draft pick. Waste of a draft pick. That's all I'm gonna say. What was the point? And they moved up to get him. I'm telling you, man, ass backwards. Rodgers will finish that contract, then retire. You think so? You think he finishes out that contract? I don't know. Because I think if he has another, I think if he has another flopped year, like this year, like if this year comes up, and it's almost the same as this, I think he retires after next year, bro. I think he does. I think he calls it quits. But my question is, do you think 60 million? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. You got a good point. I mean, he asked for it though too. That's the thing. He asked for it, so I mean, hey, you're right. 60 million. But my question is, do you think he wins a chip? That's the more important thing. Does he win another Super? Because the money, he can get the money, bro. We don't care. When it comes to us, we don't care about that shit, bro. You feel me? How are you gonna look? How are you gonna ball? What you gonna do? Are you gonna win? What's at stake here? Does Aaron Rodgers win a Super Bowl in Green Bay? Will he win another Super Bowl? Or will he leave Green Bay? But there's so many things that speculate around Aaron Rodgers. You never know what's gonna. No, he will not win again. I mean, I won't ever say never, because you never know. I mean, we didn't know the Bengals were gonna go to the Super Bowl last year. There's a lot of things that speculate. I mean, I would lean in your direction to keep it a stack, but I'm only giving it that small probability. Because here, who's to say? The Green Bay Packers are just like, you know what, we gotta move on. We want to invest in Jordan Love. We want to kind of start over, use these picks, get some players around Jordan Love. Like, for example, I'll even give a scenario. Let's say you trade Aaron Rodgers, right? I mean, I think they're gonna still have like $50 million in dead cap money, but I mean, they still have Jordan Love on. He's still not really getting a lot of money, right? He's still on his rookie deal. So even though $50 million is still a lot, $50 million is still a lot on the salary cap. That's not a small amount of money here. But right with Aaron Rodgers, you're trading him away. You can get a haul for Aaron Rodgers. Depending on who's willing to trade him and who's willing to go out for him, and who and what are they willing to give, right? But my thing about it is, you know, if you trade Aaron Rodgers, you try to obviously you're gonna get a first round draft pick, obviously, right? So my thing about it is, right, you get the best picks you can possible, you get the best deal, and then you just draft around Jordan Love, man. And then so the reason why I said never is because we don't know what team he could go to if he gets traded, and more than likely, he'll probably go to a team that will probably contend. You know, he'll probably go to a team that can contend. Now, do we know which team? Do we know which team? Uh, I don't know, but we can talk about another guy, right? Because we might not know what's going on with this guy, and I think you guys have an idea of who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Lamar Jackson. Let me move this a little bit. Right, Lamar Jackson, man. Let me bring this up. I want to bring this up. Come on now. Okay, all right here. So there's a lot of speculation on what's going on with Lamar. I want to get rid of this bullshit. This is why I gotta know how to use encoding. Oh, you just dropped a comment. It's a new day. Mahomes, Burrow, Lawrence. Say goodbye to Brady's, Rodgers, Ryan. Hey, man. I know you didn't bring up Matt Ryan, bro. I know you didn't bring up Matt Ryan in the same name as Brady and Rodgers, even though he did win MVP that year. So it's not like he's a shit quarterback, but he has his off days. I think we can both agree on that. Matt Ryan has his off days, shit, off games, actually off years. He has an off year, right? But yeah, I agree there. It's definitely a new day. But going back to what I was saying though, because I'm kind of done with the Aaron Rodgers situation until that boils over. But this situation right here with Lamar Jackson, does he leave? Does he stay? I think, man, if I had to give my opinion, I think Lamar Jackson gets traded to the New York Jets. I'm calling it here. I think so, man. I think they do. I think they go out for I think they go out for Lamar Jackson, of course. Just saying those guys are on the way out. No, I get 100. I got what you meant though. I'm just saying, like, because you brought up Mahomes, Burrow, Lawrence. I mean, you brought up Lawrence. You didn't even bring up Josh Allen, man. Lamar in Minnesota. I don't see it. I don't see it, bro. I'm sorry. I don't see it. I see the Jets. I see the Jets being more aggressive. I see the Jets being more aggressive. Because remember, let's bring this up. I'm gonna bring up something old now. We talking about the Jets that were willing to bring in Brett Favre, right? Late in his career, even though he had a good year. His first year with Minnesota was really good, but his time with the Jets was poo poo doo doo. You know what I'm saying? And so with the Jets, I mean, they have some good young guys at receiver, right? So we could start there, right? They have Himes. I forgot the running back. He got injured. He was having a productive year also. Michael Carter, right? So they have some players on that offense. Literally, the worst thing about this whole team was literally one guy. It was one guy that made this team suck. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you. You feel me? I think anybody from the outside looking in, or even players within, the Jets franchise, they probably thought about their team and thought to themselves, if we had any other guy at quarterback, if we had any motherfucker at quarterback, we could have went to the playoffs. Literally. I was gonna say Allen and Tua for young guys, and Carr and Stafford to the older guys. Yeah, because Stafford did win a chip. I mean, Carr's not old though, man. He's still in the prime of his career. You know? Or is that what you were trying to say? I think Stafford's near the end, man. The way he's getting hurt, they'll have to beat that lineup though. Rams have a lot of fixing up to do with their squad. But yeah, so we got some odds here though too right now. So according to some sports books, the highest odds of where, let me get rid of these. I don't get rid of these comments. Well, I can't. All right, so Jets are projected, they're 250, Saints 350, Ravens plus 500, and then the Dolphins 625. Right, so I only see really two scenarios coming out of this. I see the Jets and then him staying on the Ravens. All right, and then not to mention that defense though too. That defense, the only thing that's gonna kill them is the money that he might be asking for. If he's asking for a fully guaranteed contract, I don't know what to say. I don't know. And I think honestly, if that's what he wants, honestly, I do believe that quarterbacks, somebody like Lamar Jackson, I'm not going to say he doesn't deserve that type of money. My thing about it is, the only reason why I lean on the side of the franchise is because of the salary cap. You got to rob Peter to pay Paul in the NFL. If you pay one guy, another guy loses bread. Yeah, I don't see him going to Miami neither. I don't even know why the hell that's up there. Keeping 100 with you. I don't even know that. I don't even see why that's even in the sports books. But I guess they were just throwing something out there for the odds, make some money. That's what they did. But yeah, but that's why the Jets are the favorite, because I mean they're in the AFC East. Honestly, with the Miami Heat, with their ups and downs, they would have been able to do something. The Jets would have been able to do something if they were in the playoff. That, I'm telling you, that defense is dangerous. I mean, we've seen it. My thing about it is just they need to find what to do with the Jets. They need to find something to do with Zach Wilson. I don't think this guy can come back as a starting quarterback for the New York Jets. I'm sorry, I don't think it can happen. I don't think it's gonna happen, bro. If I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, I don't see it. I don't see it, man. Especially the year after he had, and I'm not even convinced on Mike White. So now the situation with Lamar and things blowing over, things going back and forth, and there's speculation on whether Lamar Jackson decided to play because he didn't have his contract or because of his knee injury. Look, my thing about it is, right, if this man had came into the year already, right, with no contract, and then already had the mindset to come out and play, knowing that he could get injured, I mean, that's enough proof right there to show you that he was willing to play. That he was willing to go out there for his team. And he said that in the past. So if he can't play because he's injured, Who am I? Who am I to knock on that? Who am I to to say otherwise? You get what I'm saying? Who am I to say otherwise that Lamar Jackson should have been playing? This is the opportunity of a lifetime. Nah, man. We got to remember, Lamar Jackson's weapons are in his legs. He has a knee injury. Like, come on now, make it make fucking sense. The guy that runs has a knee injury. What do you expected him to go out there and throw 30, 40 times a game? Nah. Come on now, let's be realistic here. I don't think people factor that into their heads. Trying to tell this guy, look, you need to go out there, go on, play like, Michael Vick. And that was a bad take on Michael Vick's end. That was a bad take on Michael Vick's end. And I think, maybe I can find something that he said. Maybe I should switch it up and go to Twitter. Twitter be having the information on there. Let me see. Maybe I'm not gonna find it. Oh, I'll probably have a better chance looking on Facebook. Is it here? Nah, they just a bunch of stuff. Oh, right here. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see that though. Bring that in just a little bit closer. All right, so former QB. Let me get rid of that logo. Former NFL QB Michael Vick calls out Lamar Jackson for missing the Ravens playoff game today. It's the playoffs. You're 3 games away. Put a brace on it. Get it going. I played a whole season with a torn MCL. And see, that this is why I said it was a bad take, man. This is why I said it was a bad take. Because everybody's situation is different. And I think the best QB who combat that was Robert Griffin III. That he came out and he spoke the truth. We all seen how good Robert Griffin III was before he had that injury, right? Robert Griffin III was a legit QB in my opinion. I thought he was good. I thought he was pretty good. Up until that injury, he was never the same again. And then we seen what happened. So every situation is different, man. You can't put that on everybody. You can't assume that if he goes out there, he's not gonna get hurt. And especially Michael Vick. Remember, you got your money, bro. You got your money. You feel me? Like Michael Vick got his money at that time. Lamar Jackson's on his rookie deal. And so he's playing with house money. So it really just comes down to really the contract. There's been so many different things that's factored in so many different statements and headlines and things that's just come out. With Lamar Jackson wanting a fully guaranteed contract, and the Ravens just being like, "Nah, we're not going to give it to you." Somebody needs to find some middle ground. Somebody needs to find some middle ground here. At the end of the day, business is not done. Business is not done with one side getting whatever they want and the other side, getting, not really getting promised anything. Because at the end of the day, with these teams, they sign players with the intent to win a championship, to win it all. And that does, and it does do that. Like keeping Lamar Jackson and paying Lamar Jackson does put them in a better chance to win. That's a fact. You get what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is, In a hard salary cap based league, you can't give Lamar Jackson that type of money, man. Especially if you're gonna need some weapons around him. But they waited so long to pay him. That's where the Ravens messed up. It's the fact that they waited so long to pay. They should have given him the money after his MVP. After his MVP, they should have given him the money. That's what they should have did. And that's where the Ravens messed up. They should have given Lamar Jackson the money when they were supposed to. It's almost like the Dak Prescott situation. You waited it out. You already changed your whole offense around. But the reason is because the Ravens didn't believe in him long term. They didn't think he was here to stay. I think Lamar Jackson is. I think you have a lot of good years out of Lamar Jackson. I don't think he goes over 12 seasons with the Ravens. I don't think he'll have the lifespan of these other traditional QBs who can stay in the pocket all day and throw 30 to 40 passes a game. But the fact of the matter is your window to win with him is probably within these next two contracts. My thing about it is who's gonna pay it? If he's asking for that fully guaranteed contract. Because let's admit, that contract that Cleveland Browns gave Deshaun Watson is bullshit. Like let's call it how we see it now. and he deserves money too. You know what I'm saying? But come on, bro. Like, they pulled some shit. The Cleveland Browns pulled them shit. That was desperate. They were begging for mercy. You feel me? Like, we're talking about a team in the Cleveland Browns who haven't had a quarterback since Otto Graham. Right? That was their last like Super Bowl, or not even Super Bowl, just championship before the Super Bowl. Championship QB. Right? With Otto Graham. And he was wearing number 60. Playing with Jim Brown. This is the team that gave Deshaun Watson a fully guaranteed contract. Right? But they did it because they knew they were out of the loop. They didn't want to commit to Baker Mayfield, so they really wanted Deshaun Watson. So we're gonna have to see then what he's made of next year. I don't put too much stock on this year. There was a lot on Deshaun Watson's shoulders. But he's getting a good chunk of his money now next year. So we're gonna start to look in that direction here pretty soon. That's a tough division. But if I'm Lamar Jackson, man, I say you definitely gotta explore some other options though. Because for one, I think other teams are willing to give you that much. I think the Jets are willing to give him that much. And three, that team is Super Bowl ready, man. I think with Lamar Jackson on that team, they are Super Bowl ready. Because the Jets, they have a recipe to win a Super Bowl. Run the ball, stop the run. And I think even with all the criticism that falls upon Lamar Jackson as a quarterback, right? As a pure quarterback, I still think he's an above average quarterback. In recent years, he's made a lot of mistakes, though. He has. I'll keep it a buck there. He's made a lot of mistakes. But and I'm talking about interceptions because over time, like he was starting to make a lot of let me see, collegiate. I'm looking for his playoff year numbers. Yeah, so last year. So this year he was pretty good when it came to he was all right with touchdown to interception ratio. But last year in 2021, when he had just played 12 games, right, he threw 16 touchdowns and had 13 interceptions. You know, that's not a good touchdown to interception ratio. You know, so my thing about it is, man, is the Ravens, they just dug themselves in a hole that's way too deep. At this point, you already know what you already know what the talk is about. The money, the contract. The only way I could see how this works out for the Ravens, I mean, obviously Lamar would have to give up some ground though too. He can't just have it his way 100%. You know, because most contracts aren't like Deshaun Watson. Most people, that's the first fully guaranteed contract in NFL history. So you gotta take that in account. And it is the Cleveland Browns giving him that money. But one thing's for sure is that I definitely think Lamar Jackson deserves more than Kirk Cousins. Um, what's his name in Arizona? What's his name? Yeah, I know some of y'all gotta remember his name. Come on now. Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, right? He deserves more than Kyler Murray. I think he deserves more than well, after this year, I can't really say Dak Prescott. Can't really say that, but you know, we're gonna tap into it though right now. We are going to tap in and we're gonna look at these contracts. Salary rankings. Let's bring it up. Let's bring it up. Bring it up. Bring it up. Okay. Let me see. Cap hit. Should I do cap hit? Base salary? Sheesh, $46 million. And this is for this year. This is for the year coming up. Oh man, look at all these millions. Look at all these millions. Let me crop this down a little bit. This is so horrible. I gotta read it. Oh, actually, I have another freaking. What am I doing? I'm an idiot. Yes, sir. Hey, it's told you I've been working, man. It got different overlays and everything. Right, so you guys can at least see me on, and I'm still able to do this though. You know, but let me see. Which would I pick? Oh, this is the reason why I didn't pick it because of these freaking lines. I need to edit that out. All right, so let me see. Let me go to guaranteed money. It should be where's the guarantee? All right, total guarantees. Come on now. You see how they did me dirty? They did me dirty. Damn, man. And my internet is just fine though too. I don't know why it's not working. This website was a little slow though. All right, let me just try. Come on now, work with me now. History. Yeah, currently isn't HTTP error 500. So it's something probably with the website. It was giving me some problems. Man. All right. Well, unfortunately, I'm not able to get it. Let me see. Maybe I could get a different website. And guaranteed money. Whew. Oh man. All right, yeah. So to be fair, right? So we looking at this now. I'm bringing it up because it's not up. All right, so you see it. You see it. So look at the guaranteed money. All right, so Deshaun Watson, and this is just contracts, right? The entire contract. So Deshaun Watson clearly has the highest, never seen before, $230 million total guaranteed. So to be fair, Lamar Jackson deserves to be second on this list. He deserves to be second on this list. He deserves to be 100%. He 100% deserves to be over Russell Wilson, especially after the bullshit we seen Broncos country, right? After last year, man, and Kyler Murray included. And even with the games that Lamar had played, remember they were 8-4 with him. They were a better team with him. So they played, and even though Kyler Murray, yeah, he did get hurt. The Baltimore Ravens were still a better team than the Arizona Cardinals. They've been a better team under Lamar Jackson than the Cardinals have been under Kyler Murray. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, that's not really arguable. Josh Allen, I mean, he signed his contract in 2021, so he would definitely have a lot more money. We already know what happened with Josh, with Patrick Mahomes. He was getting his same situation there. He was getting his money on the back burner. He has a 10-year deal. So to be fair, yeah, he deserves to be second. Bare minimum, he deserves to be second on this list. Now here's my thing, right? If the Baltimore Ravens are willing to give Lamar Jackson $170 million guaranteed, and he does not take this shit, then he's out of his mind. But that's the bare minimum that the Ravens should offer Lamar Jackson. The bare minimum of what the Ravens should offer Lamar Jackson is $170 million. No ifs, ands, buts about it. That's it. That's what you gotta pay him. That's what you gotta give up, man. $170 million. I say, to honestly, though, if you're Lamar Jackson, hey, try to bump that up to 200 though. Why not, right? Bump it to 200. Let's see how much you can get, how much you can squeeze out of it. But we haven't heard the specifics. We just only heard that he wants Deshaun Watson money. But like I said, man, I think there needs to be some type of leeway, some type of, you can't necessarily, you got to give up something, especially when it comes to business. You can't go into a room and think that you're going to have everything you want. That's just not how it works. Because I'm pretty sure with the Ravens, they're probably thinking, if I give them this contract, we'll be less, we'll be tight with the cap. I mean, but that's them. Honestly, I'm not stringing on. I'm not gonna keep sitting here and thinking I can, thinking that should be the running argument, especially with a player, because that's their problem. I would be on the same. That's your problem. But I think 100. It should be 100. Anywhere between 170 million to $200 million. That should be the bare minimum. Anything within that window, if Lamar Jackson is offered that as a guaranteed contract, come on now. Now, if the Ravens weren't even offering that, then yeah, I can see why Lamar Jackson has a problem. I can see why he has a problem, for real. All right. Let me see. We tap into some other things. Damn, man, we've been on 2 hours, and I ain't even stressing it, man. I'm keeping it going. I'm keeping it going. What's going on y'all want me to talk some basketball? We can get into some basketball. Let's see. Actually, I'm gonna. One of my guys that called me that's usually on the stream. Give me a second. In the meantime, let me see. Did he come in though? All right. But yeah, let me see what's going on with ball though. Let me see what's going on with the ball, with the basketball. Yes, sir. Let me refresh this. I'll just be having tabs up and stuff. Quinn Snyder. Who cares? Stat leader. Top catch and shoot scores. Okay, let's tap into this. I think this is interesting. Stat leader catch and shoot scorers. Klay Thompson, Buddy Hield led top catch and top catch and shoot scorers in 2022 to 2023 season. Last week we began our top shooters of the season by breaking down the top 10 scorers and the pull-up jumpers. A list led by Luka Doncic, Kevin Durant, Donovan Mitchell, Steph Curry. It was a star-studded list. All right, let me just go down. All right, so all these stats, man. So points based off, look, Klay Thompson, 10 points, 57% field goal. No, efficiency. Is that? What's EFG? Because field goal is oh yeah. Man, I wish they would have had something for that stat though. Let's see, just so I can get a better understanding of what EFG is. Anybody know what EFG is? Let me take this down now. But yeah, so Klay Thompson averaging 10 points, Buddy Hield 8.6, Laurie Markkinen 8, Andrew Wiggins though too. And he's shooting 45% though too. He has the hot. No, Devin Vassell. So Devin Vassell is shooting 47% off 3-pointers, and he's averaging the same amount of points as Andrew Wiggins. And this is averaging damn near 5 to 6 shots a game. Honestly, that's thoroughly impressive. If I'm keeping it 100, damn near shooting basically like 50%. Tim Hardaway is averaging 7 points off catch and shoot, but him and Malik Beasley are the worst shooters on this list when it comes to the three. And then when it comes to the field goal, Malik Beasley is still on there in the lower end, and then you got Tim Hardaway. So Tim Hardaway, man, Jesus Christ, dude. So really, Tim Hardaway, man. Tim Hardaway Jr. I mean, he has a 7 points, but for the most part, it seems like he's a middle of the pack guy. So Klay Thompson, since player tracking data debuted in 2013, 2014, Thompson has led the league in scoring on catch and shoot 6 times, including this season, ranked second to teammate Curry in 2018, 2019, and fourth 2014, 2015. It makes sense that the players that once scored 60 points on just 11 dribbles would consistently be amongst the top catch and shoot threats in the league. Whether coming off screens, he averages a league high 5.5 points per game on such plays, or finding open spaces on perimeter as a target for passes from Curry. Klay shoots 48.7% from 3 on passes from Steph or Draymond Green. Klay is ready to fire with one of the quickest releases and smoothest 3-point strokes in the league. right? Buddy Hield, while he may have changed teams at least year while he may have changed teams at least years trade deadlines. That's a typo mess up. They fucked up. One thing that did not change is Hield's ability to knock down, catch, and shoot from beyond the arc. Over the past 5 seasons, Hield has ranked in the top 8 in catch and shoot, scoring 4 times. In his first full season in Indiana, Hield is on pace to average the highest points per game on catch and shoots, 8.4 points per game, and his highest second highest efficiency EFG 60. All right, so second EFG 64.8. He leads all players in total field goals on 126 and 3 points made, 125 on catch and shoots so far this season. Right? And then, let me see. And Larry Markkinen, amongst this top 10 list, Markkinen is the only player to currently lead his team in scoring, as he ranks 17th in the NBA at 24.6 points per game, which is on track to be a career high by nearly 6 points per game, 18.7 points per game in 2018-2019 in Chicago. Markkinen's shot distribution is split fairly even between 3-point shots, 297 attempts, 261 of which are catch and shoot, and shot inside the paint, 328, which is the most of any player on this list, with only 46 attempts coming from mid-range. All right. What's this? Oh, these are just more players. Oh, they're bringing up something else. Okay, let me tap into that. So Wiggins currently ranks 4th in catch and shoot scoring, 7.7 overall, and 5th in effective field goal percentage. Okay, on catch and shoots amongst high volume shooters, 127 players with 100 plus catch and shoot 3-point attempts. Take a look at the progression of Wiggins as a catching shooting threat since joining the Warriors. So when he first so his points. Oh, but he did get better. He was 52, 57, 60, and 68. And then 2019, 33.8, 4.3, 5.4, and then 7.7. So literally, I mean, him just going to the Warriors helped him become a better shooter. I mean, is that a Jesus Christ? I mean, is that like a coincidence? I mean, I don't think so. Fact of the matter is, all right, my fault, guys. All right, but fact of the matter is, man, Andrew Wiggins doing his thing. He's become a way better catch and shooter, and the numbers are right there from 2019 from 3.8 all the way to 7.7. Right, and then now we can bring up guys like all the way in the bottom, Jeremy Grant though too, who's having a good year. Also, Keegan Murray, rookie. Right. But guys, I got some homework I gotta do for school, unfortunately, and I gotta eat, man. I'm hungry, man. So, I'll be honest. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get back tonight. But I am gonna stream tomorrow afternoon, probably around the same time. I promise. I promise. I know it coming with a lot of promises, but I'm telling you, man, I'm working on it, man. Slowly but surely. I just got a lot on my plate, so I could only dish out what I can. I'm only human, man. But, sooner or later, I'm gonna keep feeding y'all because I know how important it is to keep feeding, the audience, man. So slowly but surely, man. So all I gotta do is just keep doing it, keep working at it, and most importantly, I just gotta keep posting. That's all it is, man. I just gotta keep posting, bro. So I gotta keep feeding y'all. I can't keep neglecting y'all here, man. But thank you though. Thank you guys for watching into Cash Sports. All right. I will be changing the name here pretty soon. It is gonna switch to Cash Media, which is what you see up there, right? I'm just holding it on. The only reason why I haven't changed it is because like I did like for promotion a couple months ago, and I said Cash Sports a long time ago, but um yes, I'm waiting for that promotion to kind of follow through first, and then once that's done and over with, then I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna switch it over to um, Cash Media. So from here on out, it will be Cash Media from here on out, right? But I still kept Cash Sports. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it for a while, but I think I'm gonna keep Cash Media just to kind of keep the topics a little bit more broader, so we can talk about a multitude of things. But trust and believe, the sports is not going anywhere, right? The sports are not going anywhere. You can promise that. I'm gonna talk about sports until I die. To this day, I'm talking about sports, right? So that's not going nowhere, man. So trust and believe that, and show some support, man. That's all I ask. Show some support. It's free. Just drop a like. Subscribe though too. Subscribe though too. Subscribe to the channel. I promise y'all, man. We gonna keep the content coming, and not most importantly, it's not just about giving y'all content. It's about giving you guys value. I know I'm just on here. I'm just talking my shit, talking about whatever the fuck my opinion is on a bunch of other things that people watch though too. But nah, man, trust and believe, man. I'm working here, and I got some plans. So all you guys gotta do is just stick with me here, you know. You guys will obviously be my first audience, whenever you guys, when it starts to build up. But most importantly, um, just show some support, man. I'm not even asking for money and all that at this moment. Just keep showing support. If you love sports, if there's things you feel like we could talk about as it pertains to just keep it sports right now. Hop on the page, man. Comment, leave a comment. I engage. So I'll leave it at that. This was a good little stream, good little talk about football. I know I stutter my words, and it comes off a little bit unscripted, but I like to keep it organic though. I like to keep it to the point where I can engage with people. I can laugh, curse, get mad, or not get mad, but we could just have some serious debates on here, man. So, and that's what it is, man. And that's what it's about, at least on my page right now. Debates, information, networking, and opportunities. Right, that last one, I'm telling you, it's gonna be there. It's gonna be there for me. It's gonna be there for you. Whatever you do, whatever it is, the opportunity is coming. Just keep working towards it. And I'm one of those people. I want everybody to eat, man. I want everybody to be successful. But you gotta make those steps for yourself. Remember that. All right. Um, so thank you guys all for tuning in. I would have stayed longer, but I got homework to do, man. I can't I can't push that off, man. As much as I would want to, I can't. But stay tuned, man. And I am gonna be using a game capture card. So even to show it to you. So I'm not look right here. Look, I got a little game capture card. That's an Elgato um an HD60X. So hey man, I'm not bullshitting. It's there. I got it. So I intend to play games on this motherfucker. You feel me? So so I do have plans for that. But like I said, just like and subscribe. Hit that bell and notification button so you guys can tap in whenever I go live. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Promise. I promise you'll see me tomorrow. I promise. I will stream tomorrow. I will. Right? And then, Bring your topics, man. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. All right. So thank you all. And this is CashSports.